And welcome to Ghost to Ghost. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to open up the lines right now for you. If you want to share your ghost stories with us or you have a question, jump aboard and we'll get to you as soon as we can. I've told this story before. Those of you who are regular listeners will probably remember it, but I got to tell you it. When I was a kid growing up, my mother was born in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, so we would spend our summers in Fitchburg. Now, her father owned a furniture company, and attached to the furniture company, he built a pretty sizable apartment complex where they lived. They had a couple floors and units and stuff like that, but they had other apartments that they rented out to people in the Fitchburg, Massachusetts area. Those of you who live in that area would know it as the Union Furniture Company. While I was sleeping on the second level, my parents were sleeping on the upstairs third level, and underneath us was part of the furniture store where they were selling furniture and mattresses and beds and all those kind of things. Well, in the wee hours, I was woken up by a firefighter who had a mask on, looking me right in the face, and my level was engulfed in smoke. And he said, you have to get up. You have to get up and wake everybody up. And I did, and everybody got out. Everybody got out safely. I'm on the front page of the Fitchburg Sentinel newspaper, walking across the street in my little pajamas and everything else. But we were saved by that firefighter who came in. He was the only one in there at the time, woke us up and got us going and got us out of that place. And the fire had started in the furniture store in a mattress. Somebody had apparently lit it, believe it or not. But through the course of that night, while we were outside watching them put out that fire that saved the building, my father went up to the police chief and he said, I want to see the firefighter who woke up my son George and got us all out. He saved our life. And the fire chief looked at him and said, Sir, we never got to that level at this point. You guys all came out on your own. And he said, no. There was a firefighter in there who woke my son up and told him to get everybody out of bed and get out. And he said, no, sir, we never got up there. There was no one. To this day, I am now convinced that that was either a ghost or an angel that was sent to save us. Because God knows what would have happened had we not woken up and gotten out while that place was engulfed in smoke. It's amazing. Anyways, we're going to start Ghost to Ghost in a moment here on Coast to Coast AM. Get ready.
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is? It's fear.
Hi, this is Teresa R.G.
And this is Kathy Weber.
And we are the Haunted Housewives. And we want to wish George and everyone listening to Coast AM a very happy Halloween.
Stay spooky, my friends. Happy hauntings.
Yes, the Haunted Housewives. They did a great job in Columbus, Ohio. They were part of our team on stage, and they just spooked the heck out of a lot of people. But they love doing what they're doing. Anyways, welcome back to Ghost. We've got a couple hours of great calls for you. And again, those of you who sent in emails to Tom and did not get called back because we got inundated with emails, you're invited to call in with your story. So the lines are open and jump aboard. Let us start by going to Keith in Seattle, Washington to get us started. Keith, welcome to the program.
Hey, George. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you, my friend. What do you got for us?
Oh, I call this the Katy Perry weekend. This is spring 2014. The activity has returned to the Bothell House. And if there ever was a poltergeist that deals with preview of coming attractions, this is it. So this started on a Friday. This is March, April of 2014. Me and my girlfriend Tina at the time living in the home. And I'm in my office, upstairs office. It's a weekday night. It's about 8 or 9 p.m.-ish. I'm typing feverishly on the computer, just doing little stuff, odds and ends. And I kid you not, all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the TV in our master bedroom comes blaring on, and it's playing loud music. I mean, loud. I get up from my chair and rush to the bedroom. Tina, my girlfriend at the time, is coming upstairs to meet me. She had been downstairs. And we get to the TV, and yes, it's playing music, but there's no screen. I mean, the screen is black, but it's showing a music channel, something
strange
music channel or whatever. But it's playing loud music, and it's weird. And Tina looks at me like, "Why are you turning on the TV loud?" I'm like, "I didn't turn the TV on. I was in my office." So naturally, we look at it for about a few minutes, and I grab the remote control off the bed, and I turn the TV off. Okay, problem solved, right? No big deal. TV's weird. I go back to my office. Tina goes back downstairs to do what she's doing. I kid you not. 5 minutes later, bam, loud music, TV comes on again.
Jeez.
Okay. Now, the second time we meet in the bedroom again, I call Tina and say, "Hey, TV's back on. We meet in the bedroom. We're standing in front of this TV." Once again, black screen, but loud music, okay? Now, I noticed this time, wait a minute, this has been about 5 or 6 minutes that passed. Why is it playing the same song? It's the same song that's being played, and it's the same lyrics, okay? And it's a Katy Perry song at the time in 2014. This song, people can look it up, it was a hit. The title of the song, I didn't notice at the time, it's called Dark Horse. That's the name of the song. Katy Perry's hit. And the lyric I'm hearing is, that it's playing is, or the verse, "Are you ready for the perfect storm?" And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but it's going with, "Are you ready for the perfect storm? You should not play with magic. And because once you're mine, there's no turning back." Now, I'm looking at Tina, she's looking at me, and based on what we've seen already in the house, we know, okay, this is a haunting episode. We need to clock in, and we're at DEFCON 4 now. So I get the remote, turn the TV off, and this time, George, I unplugged the TV, okay? And I think I did a mini happy dance when I did it because I looked at Tina, I'm like, "Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Poltergeist, deal with that. I unplugged it."
Yeah, I gotcha.
No power, E equals MC squared, whatever. Okay. I go back to my office. Tina goes back downstairs. Another 5 minutes pass. So mind you, we're now 15 minutes into this, right? And I kid you not, once again, the loud music starts blaring again. Okay? Same tone, same volume level, but high. Now, I'm getting out of my chair, going back to the room knowing, okay, they plugged the TV back in.
No way.
That's some nerve. I'm thinking as I'm walking through the hallway, she just meet me upstairs at the doorway, and I'm thinking in my mind, that's some nerve to plug it.
They physically plugged it back in.
Oh, no. That's what I thought. So I get to the TV, and Tina's right behind me. I thought they had plugged it back in, but keep in mind, it's the same song blaring now 15 minutes, and I look at the TV, black screen, loud music playing. The TV is not plugged in.
That's impossible. Amazing.
That's what I said. The TV is not plugged in. Now, once again, it's the same song. Now, Katy Perry's song, people can Google it. It's less than 5 minutes long. Okay, we're now 15 minutes into this. And the song is playing the same verse. It's using some Xfinity or Comcast at the top streaming music channel, and it's playing Katy Perry's Dark Horse. And I didn't know that at the time. I just remember the lyrics. I remember Katy Perry, and I went back in my computer and Googled it, and I was like, oh, that's what it meant. But me and Tina did stand in front of the TV, and then I listened to the lyrics as it's blaring in our ears. It's like, are you ready for the perfect storm? Do you want to play with magic? And once you're mine, there's no turning back. That's the verse that's replaying or playing now 15 minutes into this. Black screen, but the music channel dial, the little channel on the bottom corner lets you know what music channel you're on, is 666. I never listen to music through my television.
Why were they playing around with you, Keith? What did they want from you?
Well, like I said, this was a preview or precursor of coming attraction because we had no activity the year before 2013, but we did it 2012, and the activity returned in 2014.
Did you ever figure out who
that was the linchpin? After that day or night, you can say, it was all downhill. The first Bible to catch fire would happen 72 hours later. So they was telling us, or it, whatever, 3 times, that number 3 times the charm. Are you ready for the perfect storm?
A Bible caught fire?
Yeah, this was Friday night. This happened on a Friday. The first Bible to catch fire in our home happened Sunday night, Monday morning.
Oh my God!
And going back to that Friday, I remember you could say they kind of warned us because they were like, "Hey, we're back in town. Get ready for business." And keep in mind, this was Friday. We had major activity Saturday, Sunday. Sunday was the big bang of it all with the Bible catching fire. But from that point on, meaning spring of 2014, began the return of the large objects, small, medium objects being thrown, waking up, finding all your kitchen cabinet doors wide open, missing objects, Tina's missing jewelry, my missing car keys.
Jeez. Did you ever get rid of them?
I eventually moved out. It was just too much to handle, but, long
So they stayed in the house. They didn't follow you.
Well, that's another story for another day. They did follow me. Yeah.
That's another one for next year, Keith. Thanks. But you're lucky you've got your sanity with you. I'd go nuts after that. Steve in Albany, New York, our friend, the cab driver. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, you didn't ask me after I droned off, and you didn't ask me, did I ever have any paranormal experiences with my 3 heiresses?
Did you ever?
No.
That's why I didn't ask you.
Not one. But remember when you interviewed me with the guy in the car that was a serial killer?
Yep.
I left something out, and that was about 2 weeks before that. I was parking the car, backing up into a parking space at the end of my shift, and I looked, and there was a face staring at me from the mirror, the rear mirror. And I turned around real fast, and it was gone. Just gone.
Poof.
And then I had a dream that night in which the face came back, and I was involved with some sort of court hearing. And running through this real quick, the face was the guy that 2 weeks later robbed me. That was the serial killer.
Oh, my gosh.
And the courtroom was when I had to do the grand jury to put him away for life. That was in my taxi paranormal.
Jeez.
Not a hearse.
Where is this guy now? Is he still in prison?
Oh, he's going to be in prison until he's like 80 years old. I'm not going to get into all the crimes he did, but
how many people did he kill, Stephen?
He killed 2, but the FBI says now that when you have 2 unrelated murders, you have the beginning of a serial killer. I put him away. I helped put him away before he started a spree. He was just starting. And what he did to one of the corpses, I can't tell you on.
No, we don't want to hear that. I can only imagine.
It's not what you think, but it could be what you think. And it's what put him away for the rest of his life. And the guy is just trash. And I had one guy picked up in my taxi one day, and he said, "You're the guy that had the guy who murdered the guy in the barber shop. You're the guy that helped put him away." And I said, "Yes." And he goes, I thank you. That was one of my best friends, and I was hoping that somebody would catch him.
Wow, he knew. He knew. Thanks for the call, Steve. And you're lucky you're still around with us after that. Barb in Boise, Idaho, first-time caller. Hello, Barbara.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. What do you got for us?
Well, I'm just calling I'm a first-time caller. I've listened to you and Art Bell since '93.
Thank you. Thanks for sticking with us.
And it's been since 2009. My husband and I lost our beautiful son. He was 6'6", kind of tall like you, because we saw you when you came to Boise. And he had this disease, and it got him. Okay, it just got him. And he died at 32 years old.
Oh, geez.
Which is very young, right?
Oh, very young. Sorry to hear that.
Very young. Yes. So we did not know what, we knew he wanted to be cremated, but we didn't know where he wanted his ashes to be spread. So we held on to him. I had him on he loved music, so I had him on my stereo, and he's always thanked me for my music and my love of different sounds, right?
Yeah.
So we decided, okay, we got to do this. So my husband and I took him to a favorite place we thought he would like to go. He was a fly fisherman, being so tall, excellent arm, beautiful fly fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a motorcyclist. And he loved to ride motorcycles and four-wheelers. So we took him, and we decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. So we spread him around in different spots in his favorite places here in Idaho. And we sat down by the fire, and we're both, kind of wondering, did we do the right thing? Did we do the right thing? But we had his urn, and his urn was wooden, and on the outside of the urn was a fly fisherman.
Uh-huh.
And so we put it in the fire. And I kid you not, I am telling you the truth, and I'm fighting back tears to do this, because I wrote this down so I would never forget it. I'm going to be 68 here in November, and I'll never forget it. You will never forget this. And we're looking at this fire, and we're crying, and we're saying, Scotty, I hope we did the right thing. I hope we did the right thing. This is where you want to be. And you know what? That flame turned into a motorcyclist with his blue and white signature chest protector and his helmet, and we knew we did the right thing.
My God. Was it life-size?
It was just in the flames. You just saw him. You're sitting in a chair at a fire. It's not life-size. It's just in the flames right in front of your eyes.
And clearly, you both clearly saw this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we knew.
What an incredible message from your son.
His birthday was the 11th of November. Mine's the 12th. My husband's is the 13th. Of course, different years. That we just knew we felt that connection at that moment.
You sure did, Barb.
It was the most wonderful thing. And one more thing I got to tell you. You guys you are missing JC. We know who JC is. We grew up with him. He was a wonderful person, but he has passed.
Oh, really?
Really.
Tom has his number, Barb. We'll have him check that just to be sure. But thank you for that.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Happy Halloween, and don't forget to stay awake.
And that was Sandra Champlain, who's going to be one of our news guests Sunday night. And, of course, she hosts the Shades of the Afterlife on the Paranormal Podcasting Network. I hope you listen to her because she's unbelievable. Let's go to the phones. Let's pick it up by going to Richard in Virginia. Welcome to the program. Hey, Richard, how are you?
George, it is such an honor to be on this program. I have been listening to this show since 1992, 93, and wow, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you.
You made it. Thank you for calling. How you been?
It's been a great Halloween. It's a great Halloween every year because it's my birthday. So,
happy birthday, Rich. That's great.
I appreciate it.
What do you got for us?
All right, so let me tell you about, and last night I believe you were talking to somebody about sleep paralysis.
Yes.
It was really eye-opening to me because my ghost story, which, I mean, this is a firsthand experience. This isn't I heard from a friend who heard from a friend's story. This was my story. And I never really thought about, what happened beyond what happened until I listened to that guest last night. So I'm going to look into this more. But the year was, to be honest, I don't even remember what year it was. I guess it was, doing the math, 30 years ago. I had realized I was a TV news anchor in Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, really? Not 50 miles out of Detroit, which is my hometown.
Oh, there you go. I was at the NBC affiliate, and it was one of the greatest places I ever lived. And I loved going up to Detroit and going to the old Tiger Stadium and seeing it sitting out by K-Line's corner. And so that's great part of the country.
What channel was Was it WSPD?
No, it was WNWO.
Okay.
Channel 24.
I was at WJBK when you were out there.
Awesome. Well, I had realized that I had really never been anywhere in my life. And so I one day my birthday was coming up. And so I went into my news director's office and I said, listen, my birthday's coming up. I'm about to turn 30. And I'm realizing I have really, besides Canada and Mexico, I've never been anywhere. So effective immediately, boss, I'm taking a month off. And that day I went and bought a Rick Steves travel guide, a plane ticket and a backpack, and I flew to Europe the next day.
Wow.
And I just walked around Europe for a month, and it was the best month of my life. And so the whole time that I'm in Europe, and I started in London, made my way to France, made my way to Ireland, and now the month is up, and so I'm now heading back to London to catch my flight home. And the whole time I'm staying at youth hostels, just dirty little nasty youth hostels, but it was cheap and it was easy and it was great. I met a lot of neat people.
Yeah.
But my last night I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to stay somewhere nice, just a nice hotel. And so in my travel guide, I found this place which turned out to be like some 400-year-old travel lodge that people used to stay at. So I checked in, and it was a great place. It had a nice little pub on the first floor, and I still remember to this day, I had some kind of ham sandwich and 1 pint of Guinness. And so I was not drunk. I had one beer. That was it. And so I then, after that, went upstairs to my room, and it was great to be able to take a bath and to lay in a real bed and watch TV, and then I fell asleep. And, George, I always sleep the same way. I sleep like a rock, and I sleep, face down, arms under the pillow, and I'm sound asleep. And, George, this has never happened before in my life, and it hasn't happened since. In the middle of the night, I literally felt somebody fall on top of me.
Oh, boy.
I mean, literally fall on top. And not just like, okay, somebody like sitting on your back, but lengthwise from head to toe, I felt something just come into me. They just melted in. My head was their head, my toes were their toes. And it woke me up immediately, and I could not move. It was just like I was paralyzed. And I felt myself struggling to get up just to find out what the heck is going on with me. And it only lasted for probably seconds, but I couldn't even open my eyes. And I felt myself straining and struggling to open my eyes. And when I did open my eyes, it was like I was looking through somebody else's eyes. I remember the room being almost a purplish gray, and everything was hazy, like in the old days when you just turned on your TV set and it was fuzzy for the first minute until it warmed up. But it was like looking out somebody else's eyes, and then whoosh, it was gone. And from head to toe, I just felt this tingle. And after a few minutes, it was like, okay, what was that? And I just sat up and I watched TV the rest of the night.
This could have been the old hag syndrome on you.
I have no idea. So here's the crazy part now. So the next morning, I go downstairs to the front desk, and I'm paying before I leave.
Yeah.
And I said jokingly to the front desk person, hey, I really think I only owe half the amount. And she said, why? And I said, well, I think I spent the night with a ghost in my room. And she was like, oh, God, let me guess. You were laying in your bed, and it felt like somebody was like laying right on top of you.
Oh, whoa.
Couldn't move. And then when you tried to open your eyes, it was like looking through somebody else's eyes, and then boosh, it was gone. And I just stood there, just my jaw dropped, and I'm like, ma'am, that is exactly what happened to me. And she just very casually said, that was Jack, and he does this all the time.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, you're going to have to explain who Jack is and what you mean by that. And she said, about 150 years ago, when the previous owner owned the place, there's the bar. You had a drink in the bar last night. She said somebody was stealing some of the whiskey. And so the owner had the bright idea of, oh, here's a bottle. I won't serve this one to anybody, but I'll put a little bit of rat poison in it.
Oh, my
and
God.
Whoever gets sick is the person who's drinking from that bottle and stealing my whiskey. Well, she said there was this groundskeeper named Jack who they ended up finding him dead because apparently he drank too much of the bottle and too much of the rat poison. And ever since, he has been haunting this hotel, and he's been doing exactly that to all of the guests.
Jack is not a happy camper, is he?
Jack is not a happy camper. But, I mean, just to be able to have that experience and then less than, 5, 6, 7 hours, somebody described to me exactly what happened to me in my room, blew me away, made me a believer.
That's a great story. Is that on the internet at Ulrich? Can you find this place? They've kept it quiet, haven't they?
And the funny thing is, George, I have for years said, I want to go back. I want to go back to this place. Even if I went with my wife or my kids, I need my own room because I want to reenact this whole thing and see if it happens again. Because, it's one of those things, George, where you tell a story over and over again for years and years and years, and you're telling it exactly as you remember it, but it makes you wonder to yourself, is that exactly how it happened?
Yeah.
When it's that so many years ago? But that is what I remember to a T, but I would love to go back and try and experience this again.
That's a great story, Rich. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. Again, pleasure being on the show. Love the show. God bless you for what you're doing and getting the truth out there.
That's fantastic. What a great story. Bill in Los Angeles, welcome to the program. Hey, Bill.
Hey, happy Halloween, George.
You too, my friend. How have you been?
Okay. I want to, if I could, I want to attempt something never done before on radio. I'd like to remotely view a future broadcast of your Ghost to Ghost show and channel it back so your listeners can hear about 60 seconds of your Halloween program from 2025.
All right, let's give it a try.
Okay, here goes. From the city of Fallen Angels, deep inside the People's Republic of California, welcome to Ghost 2025. Tonight's scary Halloween panel includes Joe Pesci, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Bigfoot. Good to have you back, Mr. Foot. Say hello to Joe Pesci. Joe, home alone. So you think I'm a funny guy, huh? Like a little clown or something? Do I amuse you? Indeed, Joe, clowns are not funny. Say hi. Me, no, like you. Sasquatch, don't monkey around with Arnold. You're nothing but a smelly gorilla man. My gut tells me Sasquatch just hung up. Call him back, Tommy. Meanwhile, some exciting news for seniors. Paranormal Night is just out of this world. But don't tell Hillary I said so. Later on, those scary open lines costing only $500 per minute. So get those credit cards ready. Back in a moment with Ghost to Ghost 2025.
Well done, Billy. Well done.
The good news, you're still alive in 2025.
That's right. We're going to keep going. That Pesci line was from Goodfellas, wasn't it?
Right.
One of the classics.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, Bill. Thanks for sharing that with us. Creative as he is. Let's go to Tom in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Hey, Thomas, go ahead.
Hey, George, how are you doing?
Okay, pretty good.
Thanks for having your show.
Thank you.
I have a story. It's like three-part. The first part of the report on is I was in a car accident when I was 13 years old on Christmas morning, of all things. And there's like a head wound, and but it was fatal. I was declared physically dead 3 times.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. When I came back from the hospital 3 weeks later, I saw a space shuttle Challenger Columbia at first exploded. I can't remember which. Do you know?
Spaceship Challenger or Columbia?
I don't remember.
Challenger was around 1985, I think.
Oh, okay, and Challenger was.
And Columbia came after that.
The first memory I have of getting awake, looked up at the television, and I saw Challenger explode. And I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, it blew right up in front of all of us.
Yeah, it was horrifying. And I thought to myself, well, Star Trek just died. And I had died, went to hell of a Christmas. So then I went out to the garage to hang myself.
You tried to hang yourself?
At his 13, yeah.
Oh, my God, Tom.
And, yeah, I don't have any ideation anymore. I mean, I'm not even thinking about self-harm.
That's good. And aren't you glad you didn't succeed?
Quite. I'm very happy because I can do things for people, as the case may be. And then a couple of years later, like 10 or 20, I was working at a restaurant in Plymouth, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
It's called 52 Stafford. It's like a 5-star Irish pub and hotel restaurant. And I was a sous chef, a prep cook. One of the things I had to do was restock the shelves. So I went into the basement to the freezer, large walk-in freezer. I opened it up, turned the light on, and there's a figure hanging from the middle light fixture.
In the freezer?
Yeah, an astral figure.
Oh, jeez.
It was rather unnerving, especially when it pulled itself up out of its noose and ran directly at me.
What did they want?
I have no idea. I think that what may have happened when I saw the phantasm in the cooler, it may have been residents of my suicide could have been, but didn't come to pass. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say the same thing, that it could have been a part of your soul that you would have ended up like had you succeeded.
I'm really glad I didn't, because even though I've had a hard life, I learned a bunch of things.
No matter how tough it gets, Tom, nothing's worth that. You know that.
That's correct. That is correct. It's like a self.
All right. Thanks for sharing that. That's gutsy of you to tell us that. I appreciate that. That's Thomas in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. We've got let's see, coming up on about a minute or so. Let's just chit-chat for a little bit. We're going to come back for another hour to go of special ghost-to-ghost open lines, and I'm having a great time. This is fantastic. By the way, some program notes for you. We're going to be live on Thanksgiving night. I'll be here. Christmas this year is on Monday, Christmas Eve. One of our weekend hosts will be doing that show for you, so we'll have it live. You know the deal, no tapes on holidays. And I'll be live on Christmas night for you with some special effects and some special guests and your calls, of course. And then New Year's Day is on a Monday. We'll be live on that night for you, too. So we'll get you through the holidays. We're going to get into 2024. And then we're going to do it all over again, folks. We're going to just keep doing it as long as we can. As the good Lord gives us this opportunity to keep pushing, we will. Our website, of course, is coasttocoastam.com, as Bill in Los Angeles was talking about. Paranormaldate.com is available to you. If you're available, I don't want anybody who's married signing up on that thing. Go to paranormaldate.com. We'll be back with another hour to go of Ghost to Ghost. So get ready to make the call when we come back on Coast to Coast AM with you, and let's have some fun.